G.I. Robot is a killing machine who took down over 1,000 enemy troops in the war.
The G.I. Robot, a tragic character from the Creature Commandos, embodies the bleak reality of being a creation of war, born for one singular purpose and ultimately left to grapple with a world that cannot comprehend its existence. Programmed and designed to eliminate Nazis during World War II, G.I. Robot is a war machine, devoid of the capacity to adapt to peace or engage in everyday human activities. Its entire identity revolves around one directive: to kill Nazis. When it is no longer needed for this purpose, it is discarded, much like many soldiers after their service ends. The existential crisis G.I. Robot faces mirrors the experiences of many military veterans who, after dedicating their lives to their country's cause, are left to face a society that neither understands nor supports their transition back to civilian life.
I guess Uncle Sam just forgot it existed after a while.
At its core, G.I. Robot is an object of war, a tool created for destruction, without the ability to think independently or understand its role beyond its programmed mission. Its existence is solely defined by its singular purpose, the eradication of Nazis. The tragedy lies in the fact that G.I. Robot cannot choose its own path or determine its own values. It is a mere extension of the military machinery that created it. This lack of agency renders G.I. Robot incapable of making moral judgments. It cannot distinguish between good and evil, right and wrong, because its directive is entirely dependent on the framework of war. It is not a sentient being with emotions or an understanding of the broader context of its actions. Its capacity for empathy, kindness, or compassion is non-existent. The machine's sole function is to destroy, and it is locked in a world of violence, never able to break free.
See if there are any known Nazis. If so, they will be dispatched of in short order. Are you a Nazi?
No, I'm not a Nazi.
Oh. Are there Nazis nearby? Friend Nina, my disappointment in having no Nazis to kill when I arrived is lessened by my pleasure that you are alive. Are these Nazis, General? And Nina, we fought Nazis together, you and I.
Yes.
Oh, you are going to help me a great deal.
To murder Nazis?
No, I want to kill Nazis.
What I want is irrelevant. My directive is all that matters.
But you're awful preoccupied with Nazis.
I was created with the sole mandate to kill Nazis and their allies.
But
This lack of moral agency becomes painfully apparent when G.I. Robot is later decommissioned and handed over to scientist William Magnus for study. Though it is no longer required to carry out its directive of war, G.I. Robot still clings to its purpose, unable to function outside of it. The first person to show the machine kindness is Sam Fitzgibbon, a collector who takes G.I. Robot into his home. However, the tragic twist comes when Sam is revealed to be a neo-Nazi. Driven by its unyielding directive, G.I. Robot kills Sam, as it cannot differentiate between a neo-Nazi and someone who might have been a friend. The machine's sole understanding of morality is embedded in its programming, and it cannot be swayed by human kindness or compassion. This moment highlights G.I. Robot's tragic flaw. It is a creation that was never meant to thrive in a world of peace, only in a world defined by violence and war.
It bounced around from lab to lab from the 60s through the 90s.
Angus, Sox, Clarabelle, Morty, Simon, Lizzie, meet our new friend.
G.I. Robot, at attention, sir. And your name and rank, sir?
It's nice to have a family, ain't it?
Oh,
You're a good friend, boy.
cheers for the Tin Man.
Absolutely.
Oh boy, Nazis. Get ready to die, Nazis!
G.I.? No!
G.I. Robot's story is a powerful metaphor for the plight of military veterans, many of whom, after serving their country, are discarded and left to fend for themselves in a society that often fails to understand or support their reintegration into civilian life. Just as G.I. Robot was created for the singular purpose of killing Nazis, veterans are often trained and conditioned to function in the singular context of war. Their lives are defined by missions, orders, and the relentless demands of combat. Once they return home, however, they are often expected to seamlessly transition to everyday life, a world in which their war experience holds little value. For many veterans, this transition is jarring, as they struggle with the loss of purpose and identity that came with their service. In both cases, GI Robot and military veterans face a world that demands adaptation to new rules and realities, but one that often fails to offer the support necessary for that adjustment.
Robot's personality wasn't exactly built for these kinds of publicity tours. He retired from the stage, but thought it could be of use to you in your studies.
For GI Robot, the result is a sad existence, one where its capacity to function in any meaningful or positive way is utterly compromised by its singular, violent programming. For veterans, the toll of war often lingers long after the battlefield is left behind. The psychological and emotional scars they carry are not easily healed, and many find themselves isolated, disconnected from a society that cannot understand their trauma. GI Robot's tragic fate serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of war, not just for the soldiers who fight in it, but for the machines and creations designed to serve them. It highlights the uncomfortable reality that individuals and entities created solely for war are left to confront a life beyond it, a life in which they are unable to function. The machine's inability to forge connections, to understand love or compassion, to have a future beyond violence, is a direct reflection of the way society often views and treats its veterans.
Have you checked all these people's identification cards?
I don't think there are any Nazis here.
That's what a Nazi would say.
Like GI Robot, they are often abandoned once their usefulness has ended, left to cope with a world that does not know how to help them find a place in it. GI Robot will never have a place in the world because at its core it was programmed only to kill Nazis. It does not understand or even comprehend what it means to have a life outside of its programming. It does not have the capacity to think and grow for itself. It is forever trapped by its creator's directive.
Oh, what a beautiful day. Cheers for the timber.